Let's talk about life, the ups and downs it throws at us while we pick ourselves up and learn to move forward, along with a little bit of sports and everyday talk added in. Let's dive deep. Hey everybody, thanks for diving in. It's been a while, quite a while, a couple months. A lot has changed. We left off, I believe we were doing positive outlooks, having a better outlook on things, trying to get your head straight, trying to get out of your head, trying to get out of your own way, better outlooks. And there's been a lot that's been going on. And, well, we were up in the Chicago area for the last year, and due to some things that were going on, we decided to head back to where we were and putting it all together, making it all work, how things are going, where we want to be as a family, where we feel better, where we feel happier for ourselves on a day-to-day basis. We decided to pick it up and head back down to Florida. And we are back down here, back in the Tampa area. Went back with the old company that had me. They took me back. And we are enjoying what we got going. This isn't going to be a long one today. Maybe a quick recap, pick me up, and keep reiterating about being out of our own way, out of our own heads, because I do such a bad job of that. I do a lot to trip myself up with things that do not matter, that aren't even issues. I look at steps so far ahead that haven't even become an issue yet. To try to avoid them, I make them an issue now. And it wears on me. It wears on my wife. It really does. I start getting just out of it. I do. Not saying I get difficult, but I get down. And it's noticeable. It's not an easy situation to where we can take my attitude, which isn't like angry. It's just I become, what's the best word for it? I become kind of transparent, where you could see something's bothering me, where it's not displeasure and anger and shitty. I just become really kind of, I don't live in the moment. I don't enjoy for what it is in front of me and what I'm around. And I really do. I take what is good and what can be a happy situation, and I'm starting to drift, and my head's elsewhere, and I'm concentrating on things that aren't needed now. My attention is not needed to be focusing on, and it becomes my focus. And it happens a lot. And it makes, when we are having good times, when things are going good, it takes that, I don't know, the positive steps I'm making. It takes the progress. It takes anything that I do have going on, and it almost seems to just shake it up. And nope, it's like it's not happening. What you were just doing, you were out of your head. You had 3 good days in a row. Nothing bothered you. That wasn't an in the moment necessary bothersome situation that you could take care of, where you can focus directly on that as it's needed, as a normal person should, with normal reactions and normal emotions, where you're not letting something else actually dictate how you act. Just, I mean, this isn't even what happened, but we'll just use an example, with people in their normal lives of, you know, something's bothering you, whether it's bills or work or whatever it is. And you look over, you didn't let the dog out and it peed in front of the door, trying waiting to get let out. And instead of being like, fuck, hey, it happens. Okay, clean it up, let the dog out, do what it's got to do. But instead of shit, it happened. Oh, what the fuck? Now you're taking what you're actually angry about behind the scenes and you're overreacting. And I need to stop letting that type of behavior consume me, because I'll let other things dictate something small and make it much bigger than it needs to be, to where now everybody, instead of, it's like, wait a minute, why are you mad? That wasn't a thing to get mad about. That wasn't a thing to be this unhappy about. That's not something you need to put that much energy into to now feel how you're feeling from the get-go. That's just brush it off, move on. Brush it off, move on. And I do such a poor job of that on a day-to-day basis. I really do. I wish I did a better job focusing on living in the moment and being happy right now. Because we don't know what tomorrow's going to give us. I'm everybody knows that. Everybody's lived through situations, family members, different things where things have happened. Someone's here today, someone's not tomorrow. There's twice now when I had the motorcycle. Twice. I might not have seen the next day. Once down here in Florida, once coming back from work up in Chicago. Once I had to be airlifted when I was here at the hospital, and up there, car swerved around me, went off the road. Nobody else on the road, but this car flying up, spun out, went through its burnt rubber smoke, and I got home, parked the Harley in the garage, and I wiped my hands of it and said, that's it. I'm done. That's my sign to say, you know what, you gotta stop. What's more important, riding this bike or being able to come home every day? And both of those times, especially the last time where I was awake the whole time instead of, remembering bits and pieces of breaking the fall with my face without wearing a helmet. This one really woke me up to understand tomorrow's not guaranteed. And I don't fully embrace that. And then everything that goes on in our lives, everything that goes on with family members, with ourselves, we don't fully embrace being in the now. And that's just something we really, as people, have to do. And everybody's so involved with themselves, though. They need to be happy regardless. And I find myself not on the same level as everybody else, where social media, I love it. I got to have it. I need my like. Oh my God, I didn't get enough likes. Nobody likes me. I don't care if anybody, I never get posts that I rarely get likes anyway. I don't really care. I post it, just throw it out there. Who gives a shit? I get a handful of them. Usually if it's me doing something, if it's just me doing something with me working out, me doing whatever, if I do put a video up, or, I get nothing on some of them and 2 or 3 on the others. Usually when I add the kids in there, I get a handful of them, get, more than just myself. And, it is what it is. It's just to throw it out there. There's nothing expected out of it, but everybody else, they live off that dopamine rush of, I need to be liked. I need these likes. If I don't get this, oh my God. And I think we really have to back off of that gratification of attention. I really do. And one of the big things is, if you're going to put stuff out there, who gives a shit what your reactions are? Who gives a shit if you get likes? Who gives a shit how many views you get? How many, even on this, how many listens to you get? It's just me talking. unloading a little bit of what's on my mind, on my chest, on my shoulders, just chatting it out there. If somebody wants to listen. Somebody wants to, subscribe. That's great. I appreciate people who do listen. And it's the same situation, but you have to look at it in your daily life. You're going to fail. You're going to fall. You're going to stumble. I fully believe on a grander scale, everybody's meant to fail. But in each failure, you're going to take away life lessons that will help you grow and build into being a success. But in the moment, I let it eat at me. Every small thing turns into a big problem of I failed again, or I'm failing. I'm again not succeeding. And I let it eat at me in the moment. And I'm like, it's, again, even if you look at it, just, I'm changing up the way I'm lifting. I'm changing up how I got to do it. I've been pretty good in the past couple months before the move, really sticking to working out 5 to 6 days a week. I was sticking to the chicken and rice, not deviating from it. I wasn't really, I was progressing well, but I wasn't building like I thought I should be. And getting down here, I'm restarting, I'm resetting, I'm getting myself ready to get back into it fully again. And the first 2 weeks of me kind of getting myself reacclimated, getting the first steps of beginning the process to lift again, because I took where I wasn't really at it for a good 2.5 to 3 weeks. My body, where I just, the consistent lifting wasn't there. You got to get the muscles back into it the same way as you just were. And I just feel like there's no progress. I feel like I'm losing strength, I'm losing size, no matter how hard I was pushing myself. Even during that time, I feel like I just plateaued. But it's like, what am I doing wrong? Reach out to a brother's friend, and got, great personal trainer, and Andreas. If you follow some of my stuff, get on there, follow this guy, reach out to him. The guy knows what he's doing, and he gave me a couple tips on what I should be eating calorie wise for protein and carbs. I was way off on my carbs. I did the math completely wrong when I was just doing it on my own, doing my own research. And he was like, no, he sent me, like, you got to double that. If that's what you're going for strength and size, you got to double this. So it was like, all right. And just even in the first week of me doing this, I had to double everything I was doing with that to make that work. A week and a half ago, not even, just about a week and a half ago, I was 202. I weighed myself yesterday. I'm 213. Like, what just happened? I don't feel like I look any different. I feel, in my stomach, still fatty old me, but I was like, where's this 11, 12 pounds coming from? Where are you? But I can say that during this last 10 or so days of changing it up, in the last full week plus of eating differently, eating more. And I also changed up a little bit of what I was doing at the gym with less free weight situation. Went over with a couple things because how bad my shoulder's been. Went to a little bit more machine work with certain things, with shoulder presses, incline presses for chest. And that pain in my shoulder has actually come down a little bit. I got a little bit better range of motion routinely. Because usually it's like, okay, I've been sitting for too long. I haven't moved this arm in a minute. I go to lift my left arm, and it's just like, oh shit! I have to use my right hand to get the movement going, get my arm up, and then maneuver it to get some flow going. But over the last couple of days, I have noticed a change with that. But just in general, I was looking at that as I'm failing. But in everything that we're doing, you're going to have your pitfalls. You're going to have your stumbles. You're going to have your just flat out, just fall flat on your face. But you got to pick yourself up. You have to. You got to spend every day figuring out, what is it I could do to be better? What is it I could do to improve. And that's really the main thing that I used to look at. What can I do today to make myself better than yesterday? And then the only future I want to look towards, instead of way down the line and focusing so far down the line that you're losing the objectiveness and the focus of the present, is tomorrow. That's as far as I want to look down the line. Unless we're planning, a weekend something for the family, going to the beach or whatever. But for myself, I want to look, okay, I just want to do what I got to do today to be better than yesterday. And what can I do today to make tomorrow better? What can I do today to make tomorrow easier? And then tomorrow when I'm doing it, the same thing. What can I then do to be better than yesterday? And just take those small steps, one step at a time, just a little bit here and there you got to just improve as much as you can. And if it's as little as you're crawling along, baby steps, but you're still improving. Even if you're standing still and you're not actually moving anywhere yet, as long as you're not going backwards. If you keep falling flat on your face, it doesn't matter. You're not falling backwards, you're not falling on your back. You're at least falling forward. Keep pushing, just keep getting up, and as long as you keep falling forward and failing, it doesn't matter. You're picking yourself up, and you know what? You're progressing. During that fall, during that fail, during that, you're going to pick something up. You're going to learn something. You're going to learn a new technique. You're going to learn a new skill. You're going to improve a skill. And it's going to get better. It's going to be good. Things aren't going your way. Good. Awesome. Because you can improve. You didn't get what you needed to do. All right. That's fine. What can I do to make it better for the next time? It didn't work this time. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to take what I learned and be better next time. Whether it's with work, whether it's with home, whether it's with something you do on the side that's a skill that you're trying to improve upon. Because there's also that thing that I've come across too, where if you work on something for 18 minutes a day, you focus on working on something for 18 minutes a day. That's, I think it was 100 hours or whatever the thing's called, that you'll be better than like 95% of the people doing it on the planet. If you spent 100 hours a year focusing on doing this one thing, which is like 18 minutes a day, you would improve on that skill and you'd be better and learn more. It's like, how hard is that to do? But people would rather spend 100 hours a week staring at their phone. They'd rather spend 100 hours a week doing nothing, not leaving their house, not learning anything, not improving, and just looking outward at the world going, it's, poor me. It's the world's fault. It's society's fault. I'm failing and I'm not doing anything because they're keeping me down. They're not giving me the opportunity. They're making sure I don't succeed. It's like, you don't succeed. It's solely your own situation. Look how many people have been successful that came from nothing. How many people came out of poverty and made it as far as can be. It has nothing to do with your current situation. What can you do to be better for tomorrow? What can you improve upon today to be better tomorrow? And it's a part of life that people just don't want to accept. And I have to be a lot better as well. I get lost in as my wife does call it, a pity party. I get in my head and then it's, I become a me monster, but of self-hatred. And I get mad at myself and I get down on myself. And it's not a self-pity party of like, oh, poor me. It's more of I suck. I'm failing. I'm not good at stuff. Why doesn't anything work out for me? Why no matter what I do, does it seem to blow up in my face? No matter how much I try to plan, no matter how much I try to put in advance to make it work, it's like, why doesn't shit just work out for me? But at that same time, we have to also realize, did I even do it correctly? Was it by chance that I failed? What I was doing, was it correct? It just was the bad timing. It just, in any situation, going to the gym, there's times where I go to the gym, I pick up the same weight I did, right before, and it's like, damn, why does it feel heavier today? And then, there's times where the first sets, it sucked. You get to the first set, you're doing what you're doing, you're all warmed up already, you're already moving along, you pick up the thing, you're like, damn. You get that first set out of the way, it was hard, and you're like, fuck, that sucked. And you pick up the same weights again for the second set, and you're like, well, okay, that was easy. I'm going up in weight now. Well, all right, cool. And it happens to me all the time. Go to do an incline, I do my warm up set, I go grab another one, and that was a tough set. Go for set number 2, and okay, that was an easy set. How did the same weight now just get lighter when I just did it and it was hard? All right, I'm going up in weight now. Let's get ready to start finishing strong. I'm going to do this one, then I'm going to come back. I'm going to push myself, but it happens. It can happen anywhere with anything, as long as you're looking to improve. But being honest to improve. We all have to be honest with ourselves and stop lying to ourselves. Stop lying to each other. Because that's again, one of the biggest things is stop being a liar. You lie to cover something up to protect yourself. You're really only hurting yourself. One, now you got to remember that lie. You're not helping any situations, even if you're looking to help somebody. Well, I want the other person to feel better. I'm going to lie to them to protect them. Well, now you're giving that person false sense of security, false confidence. Be honest. Being honest is going to make things that much easier. Give them the honest answer so they can properly improve. You make somebody and that's another thing with today. Nobody can give any criticism without being a victim. Oh, you're coming down on me, or oh, you're being mean to me. It's like, I'm pointing out flaws. Point out my flaws. Tell me where you think I can improve. What was I doing wrong? Can you give me a tip then if you saw something wrong? Don't be like, oh, looks great. Looks great. Another video I came across, I don't know the guy. I can't think of him at all. I can see his face. Just a thing that pops up on the reels. He must be some type of counselor or whatever. But the gist of what he talks about is, how he talks with his kids. He doesn't tell them good job and stuff. And they come up and they show him a painting of, hey, look what I did. And his main thing is, he doesn't tell them good job. And he makes the joke of, he tells them like, that sucks, and it's funny. He gets everybody laughing. But the main thing he says is, how do you feel about what you did? How do you feel it looks? Tell me what you feel. Let them look at it and tell you what they like about it, and say, that is great. I agree. Instead of chasing affirmation from everybody, you're chasing that little dopamine rush of, I need approval from others. You need self-affirmation. You need to prove it to yourself. Everybody else in society will follow suit. That's all you need to worry about. You need to follow suit with not proving to everyone else you matter. You need to prove it to yourself. You need to get there in your mind and push yourself. That's where we need to all be. Stop worrying about, oh, look at these, people on TikTok, all these influencers, all these people walking around with their cameras and they're doing their stuff and they're setting them up. Who gives a shit? Oh, look what this person looks like. Oh, well, look what this person can do. Oh, well, who gives a shit? Everybody's just one-upping each other. But all that matters is, how do you feel about what you just did? Don't care who cares what that person thinks about what you just did? That doesn't matter. What do you think about it? How do you feel? You need to be able to objectively and truthfully look at your own work, your own successions in what you do daily. What's your routine like? Are you waking up early enough? Are you doing the right type of things for your hygiene, for your health, for what you're eating, for what you're snacking on, for anything that's going on? And then, look in the mirror and say, did I do my all today? With my work, with what I'm doing in my free time, am I doing what is best for me and what I think I should be doing? Or am I doing what other people think I should be doing? Am I doing what other people think is cool? Am I doing what other people think is what the norm is. There's plenty of people like, that same thing of that. I was just always good at not giving a shit, especially when I was younger. There's, plenty of people, in high school and different situations where, when they started doing stuff that was not what I was looking to do. I'm not a part of this. I did have that big thing in my head of, well, if I get caught, I'm not afraid of getting caught like, oh, the cops. It's like, yeah, that's one thing, but I'm afraid of getting caught because my dad's going to kick the shit out of me. And outside of that, I didn't want to disappoint my parents by doing those things and then getting caught. Just how what was in my head of not wanting to be that person. I would have felt poorly of myself if I did that and then got caught by my parents, to where I would have felt like a disappointment to them because of how I feel like I was raised in that situation to not do that. And I really think that people need to worry more about how you view what you're doing. Again, we all do have peer pressure. It's always been a thing. I mean, being an outcast when I was in grade school and kind of, a dorky whatever, until I finally kind of junior into senior year, it all kind of snapped where I was like, oh, I can actually hang out with, because I'm an athlete now and I'm actually good at something, and oh, okay, I'm part of the cool crowd. And then I kind of, me being able to be a talker and make quick jokes and all this stupid stuff from TV shows and movies, the one-liners, I can just kind of snap off something silly. Before I can even think of what, if it makes sense or it's funny, it would just come out of my mouth. And I get people to laugh. I'm like, oh, okay. That was cool. I wouldn't have said that because I would have been too nervous about, am I going to sound stupid? Are they going to look at me and be, he's an idiot? Instead, it just started to, oh, hey, bam, bam, bam. And, that's how I am now. If something pops up, I don't even know what the conversation's about. If I'm sitting there, I'm not even paying much attention, but it's just, that's what she said, how he always does that in the show. But those type of things, TV shows and whatever, movie lines, if it fits in there and there's a line to get somebody to laugh, and it just naturally flows and comes out of my mouth. Just verbal diarrhea, but it gets the laugh. It gets the point across of trying to get a smile on your face. But old me would have been worried about, do I sound stupid? Are they going to look at me like, oh my God, what's wrong with it? No, I don't give a shit what you think. If you don't think it's funny, you don't think it's funny. If it falls flat, it falls flat. Whatever. I'm throwing it out there. Somebody might get it. I might get one of you to laugh. There's 10 of you sitting there. One of them might laugh and be like, I get that. And I'll point to your heads. There you go. Okay, continue. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you or to throw that out there. It just came out. But we really need to come together to help each other. We need to be there to push each other, not just, oh, you did a great job. Great job. It's like, no, that person didn't do anything. They just showed up at the gym. They didn't push themselves. They just stood around and did the very, very, very minimum. They're not excelling. They're not pushing themselves. Well, they went there. They're doing better than they did yesterday. But they got to actually do something though. Showing up to the gym and just moving a couple weights around and walking on a treadmill for 5 minutes. It's like, that didn't do anything. You didn't burn anything. You didn't do a thing. Go there and hurt and sweat. Go there and push yourself. Go there and do something. There you go. Now you made progress. Now the next day, do what you just did, then some. Change it up. Add something to it. Whether it's picking up a new skill. You want to learn how to draw. You want to play an instrument. That would be something that I would love to learn how to do. I want to play a guitar. I want to play the drums. I would love to know how to play a piano. Just something about the piano. I don't know. Ray Charles type piano music. I don't know. Just something about it. Even that and Jerry Lee Lewis banging out on the piano. I don't know. Something about the way the piano sounds, and you can get into the other like the conservative music of the old school. Whatever, the old music type shit, Beethoven stuff. I mean, listening to those type of things, it's soothing. That would be a really cool thing to be able to learn one day. I got to get around a piano and I got to have the time to do it. But would be on the list of one day maybe being able to try to do that. 18 minutes a day for a year. And you'd learn a skill. You'd be able to pick something up you didn't have before. But just sitting there and always tapping out and saying, you know what, I quit. Oh, I quit. Oh, I quit. That's great. But you're never going to succeed. You're just going to be stuck in the same spot, and that's when you're going to start to fall backwards. Because you're going to do just enough to get by, and everything's going to be passing you by. Because you don't want to step out of your comfort zone. But the comfort zone now, compared to 5 years ago, for everybody, is a way different zone. If you don't adapt, you're just going to keep staying behind. Because society and the world keeps moving. You got to at least continue to get yourself to be better, push yourself, change yourself up, change up what you do at work, how you do work, increase your skills at work. And we have to be there for each other. But honestly, if you're around somebody who's not pushing themselves, you can't just be like, oh yeah, you did great. What good does that do for them? What does it do for you? Especially if that person does turn on and be like, you were telling me like I was doing good. And it came out that I was actually sucking. Why didn't you tell me that? I don't know. I don't want to hurt your feelings. How do you think they're going to view you when they find out you've just been bullshitting them? You know, and that's going to be extra worse for them because then they're going to sit there and realize, holy shit, I thought I was doing just good, or I thought I was doing good enough. Turns out I was sucking for this long. It's going to be a wake-up call for them too. You know, we have to increase our openness to absorb what's around us and at the same time decipher what's necessary. Be a sponge. It's like being a little kid. When you're a little kid, if you've had kids, you know at a certain age you got to watch what comes out of your fucking mouth. Because if you don't, that kid is repeating what you just said. And you're going to turn and go, whoa, Nikes. Because that kid just said, oh, shit. They don't know any better. It's a sponge. They're just picking up what you're laying down. And we have to do the same thing. We have to be that sponge, but know what we should hold on to and what we should just toss to the side. We don't need the attention. We don't need to strive and crave the attention. But connections are good. We should look to have connections, to have true connections, not just endless interactions where we need the likes because that's fake. Who cares? That's not real. Having a real connection with real family and friends and coworkers and just meeting people that you can turn into friends. Those are connections. Those are true. Having it on the other side of it, though, it's not that true. It's not real. It's not. You're chasing a dopamine. It's just you're chasing a high. It's a different kind of high, but you're chasing it. It's not helping. And during that, and what we're doing, and what you end up with, puts you in a situation to where you'll never truly be happy. Trust me on that. As much as I don't really care what people think, I still want to be happy, and I still try to go out and mentally with certain things. It's not about, oh, I got to do this because other people like me. Part of certain things is you still subliminally, subconsciously still chase what you're doing in front of other people. Even at the gym when I'm going to do something, I'm like, shit. You're thinking, I fucking fell down there. That wasn't a clean one. You think that person, who's looking, who's just looking at me, fucking fuck that one up. Who's looking to see if I got that one through? Or is anyone looking at what I'm doing right now? Or I got to make sure I got to do this perfectly because I don't want someone to think I'm doing it wrong. Just do what you're doing. Who gives a shit? And there's times where I'm getting ready to do the next. It's like, why did I give a shit if anybody was watching me? I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm in my head. I'm doing my stuff. I'm doing my workout. Let them do their shit. If they want to watch me, if they think I'm doing something stupid, fuck them. If they want to come over here and be like, hey, I thought you were doing this. Can I give you a quick tip? I'll listen. Maybe they do have some advice. But otherwise, I'm going to do it my way, the way I feel it's comfortable for me, the way my form might be, or the exercise itself, whatever. Same way I do with some people. I'll watch somebody doing skull crushers, and I feel like they were almost doing the pullovers. It's like, are you trying to do chest or triceps? Oh, we're doing triceps. You might want to keep them more here, the elbows. And they're like, oh, I do this here because in case I fail. It's like, okay, whatever you're comfortable with. You're not really hitting fully triceps. You're kind of doing a pullover where you're bringing it back and you're using your chest to start the motion and you're finishing a tricep. You're not fully working the tricep. Do it how you want to. I'm just trying to help. That's all. Trying to help. Not a big deal. But it's that same feel. I don't care. If you want to help, take it. Same way if somebody walked up to me. If you gave me some advice and it makes sense, I'll give it a shot. I'll see how it feels. Thank you. And that's fine. But if you're just going to stand there and just stare at me or something, it's like, all right, you got something better to do, go do it. But I don't give a shit. Just as we all should. Don't give a shit. Go do what you got to do. Worry about yourself. Improve yourself. And I think we really need to get that into our kids to be stronger, to be able to take some criticism. Because it's not always bad. You're being criticized. All right, well, how much of what was just said was true? Instead of people are being mean to me or people don't like me. All right. Or were people being honest with you and you're just too soft? Do you need to improve somewhere and you're taking it as people are being mean when they're giving you constructive criticism and you're just taking the constructive side out of it and thinking, no, I'm doing it right. I'm perfect because that's what you were told growing up. That's a problem. Little kids always being told from the time they're little all the way up until now they're giant assholes that you're perfect, my perfect little man or my perfect little girl. It's you're perfect. No matter how much they fail at something, oh, no, it's okay. You did great. I don't do that. If my kids fuck something up or do something, I'll sit there and be like, all right, that was a good try, buddy. But how about this? Do you see this thing here? What do you think you could do here? This one here is not right. What can we do to make that one better? Make them think. They just thought they did something perfect. It's like, no, let's look at this right here. Those ones look really good. That's really cool. This one here, though, what can we do about this? Oh, okay. You got to let them not think everything they do is perfect and they'll never fail. They'll never be wrong. Because then they're going to turn into kids who can't be coached, which means uncoachable kids usually become unemployable adults. They'll never be able to follow direction because they'll think, oh, this is beneath me. I'm always right. I'm always perfect. I'm always great. No, you're not. You're always going to have something that you could be better at, that you can improve with. Not everything that you're going to touch, everything that you're going to be near is always going to, turn up roses and, rainbows and sunshine. If we can just sit there as a society and understand, let's be there for each other. Let's take the criticism. People my age as well. We grew up ripping on each other fucking nonstop. Calling each other names, sitting there and laughing about it. And it was fun. We were doing it for fun, making each other feel like shit. Nonstop. Because we knew we loved each other and we were all friends and we were doing this and we were just fucking for a laugh, fucking with each other. You do that now and people are getting suspended from school because someone overhears it or another person oh my God, he said that to that person, even though you're not in there. Joey called Johnny a name and okay. And then next thing you know, Joey and Johnny are in trouble because, Billy over here fucking told on him. When, Joey and, Johnny are best friends and they're fucking ripping on each other laughing it up because they're enjoying it. But that's, too soft. And then people come down on situations they shouldn't. We need to get that back. We need to teach our kids to be tougher, to understand criticism and ripping on each other and taking shit. Life's going to be hard as they get up. If they can't take the shit then what the fuck are they going to do when they become adults and shit really is tough? Because then they're going to be these people with colored crazy hair that's wild and sitting there, and they don't want, they're blaming their weight problems on stuff, and they're doing this, and it's like, no, it's your fault. What you look like and what you're doing and how it's happening, those are your choices that are your fault. You can't put the fork down. I've lost over 40 pounds. I've gained some back, but purposely with what I'm doing with working out over the last, 2+ years now. And it was a good drop in weight. I was a very, not great looking, it was just dad bod. And it's like, yeah, it was a shitty, like 246, 244, whatever it was. It was a shitty looking, whatever. And I got down to, the lowest I've been now was 201. It was just 202, a week and a half ago. But 201 was the lowest I've gotten down to. And it wasn't really like trying to cut weight. It was just, okay, I'm trying to do whatever. I got down just being healthy. I got down to 201. Now I'm trying to really overeat the right type of food, but have that really hit me to where I can gain a little bit more size and strength and, hopefully get some of my aches and pains padded in more to where I'm not putting as much stress on them, where I'm building a little bit more around it. But you got to take it one step at a time. Stop blaming what's around you. Start living in the moment. And I really do. I've said it in the beginning of this, and I'm going to keep saying it. We got to live in the moment. You got to stop letting outside influences and outside problems and things in the future take away what is happening now. Because who knows what tomorrow is going to be? Who knows what you're going to be in another year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, what your life is going to be like? Who's still going to be around in your life? We're all getting older. How many family members aren't going to be in there anymore? And if you don't enjoy today, tomorrow's not going to be any better. And we really do have to shake that feeling of not living in the moment. So I'm going to end it with that. Everybody, try to be happy with what you have instead of what you want. Because, like I said, nobody knows what tomorrow's going to bring and how many people aren't going to have it tomorrow. So let's all enjoy it together, what we have today, and take each and every day to be better than yesterday. And that's how we got to look at it. And as you're here today, try to make tomorrow better. So when you wake up tomorrow, you can take tomorrow and try to make it better than today. One day at a time. Let's all be happy. Let's all love each other. Let's all be, what's the best way to put it? Let's all be open-minded in trying to keep ourselves focused on the negative. Let's focus on the positive, and let's focus on what we do have. So thank you for diving in. I'm going to be getting back into doing this, and we're going to be bringing back more of these episodes, more of these podcasts, more of me just ranting and chatting and whatever pops in there. This was more of a quick pick-me-up of getting down here, getting some stuff rolling through, and maybe the next one we'll jump into where the move actually came from and where, why it came up and why we're here and what we're doing with it. But thanks for diving in, and I will but I'll talk to you guys later. All right, take care, everybody. Peace.